Hi everyone. Today I'm going to explain a bit more today's transcript with the title Time and Space. So let's dive right into it. Okay, I've heard many ways of understanding this. Some people claim that time and space do not exist, and up to a point they're correct, but they do not exist at a much higher level, incomprehensible by many. So, the purpose of this transcript is to, first of all, I want to clarify one more time. I know I've done this many, many times before, but there are new people that are listening to this podcast and are beginning to read the transcript and might be confused or my words can be misinterpreted, and I don't want to bring any confusion among you all. This very transcript, specifically under article number 2, let me make reference to the transcript number so you can trace it in my webpage. Is transcript 120809 030602, and the title is Time and Space. In this particular transcript, under Article 2, it reads, "That is why time and space exist." And furthermore, it gives a broader definition of what is time and how time is created in the mind of us all. In this particular case, remember that the transcripts are the collective forces of knowledge and wisdom through the transcripts, which transcripts are transcriptions of from the original intent. The collective forces of knowledge and wisdom at that moment, while I am channeling them, they can read mind. They can read not my mind as an intrusion, but my mind as to the intent that they want to bring and my response to that intention that they want to manifest in me for me to later explain. Uh, and under Article 2, it reads, "They exist in the patience and understanding of all this, where it is through patience that things are comprehended and understood." That is because at that moment I was becoming a little impatient, trying to understand what they meant at that moment. So they grasped that intention, that thought in me, and they wanted to make a clarification based on that understanding that I had and the impatience that I was getting. That is why it is meant to say that they exist in the patience, not because of, not because on an overall uh, expanded understanding or definition that is to be taken. No, it must be understood at all times that when the transcripts are trans- when the message is transcribed, it comes from the conversation or the lecture, more like lecture and not conversation that I'm getting. And as they read my mind, they give me clarity and I pass it on to you. That is why in so many transcripts, it is I make the annotation that that is only one aspect of the so many aspects that are into one given subject. Uh, for instance, under Article 3, being more specific, uh, lack of patience comes from the urge to rush the process of growth, friction, and movement without a clear understanding of where one is heading. That means that time and space does exist. And my impatience is because I'm lacking the understanding and I want to get more information. That leads me to another point that I want to bring. Most people get impatient trying to understand profound readings, for example, like some transcripts. And they dismiss because it goes beyond their head. And I understand that. But patience is among one of the very things that we need to hold on to dearly so we can better understand and do not get impatient, do not block ourselves, and do not misinterpret things. Through patience, you take one step back. And just like the Article 4 says, that is why one must pause from time to time to reflect on what needs to be learned and take time to see how everything is unfolding and what lesson you need to grasp. Uh, there are people that say that time and space does not exist. Let me bring some clarity to this. At our level, although time and space does not exist in other realms, the way we understand them to be in this realm, they do exist at different levels. Now, why is that? Let's use common sense and logic. Transcripts very, very much clarify this in many ways. But let me give you just one example. Uh, for time to exist, there must be a movement. And movement is the first thing that we did when we first moved. The original movement, the first movement. And movement is done through vibration, through energy. Energy vibrates. Energy is vibration. Vibration is frequency. And as we move, we manifest. For instance, for music to take place, there must be one note after the other, after the other, after the other. And within that note, there must be a pause. And that pause is a space in between one note and the other. Same thing happens with everything in life. With your voice, with what you do, with how you move, how you interpret things. One thought comes after the other, after the other, after the other. Most people say, well, everything is done simultaneously. Of course, everything is done simultaneously because you're not alone. You are one of the many manifestations as a whole in the unity of oneness. But then you are individuality. So you have one vibration and your next door neighbor has another vibration and someone else has another vibration, and all those vibrations are at unison occurring at the same time. But right there I just said the word at the same time. That means that time keeps moving and moving and moving as we evolve, as we change our ways, as we become better people, uh, behave differently, start taking care of others. And that is done through time, what, what is known as evolution, what is also known as the karmic path. Time and space does exist. However, those who claim that time does not exist need to come from the perspective that there is a place, and it's not a place to dwell, but it's a state of mind where there is no movement. And where there is no movement, then there is no time and there is no space. And that is what we call the source. Uh, going beyond that is incomprehensible by many. So even the collective forces of knowledge and wisdom are not wasting their time trying to explain something that I would not be able to comprehend. Although I was taken to the verge of the merging, but that doesn't mean that I would comprehend what's on the other side uh, and be able to bring here. At least not yet. Uh, who knows? Who knows what could happen in the near future? But I wanted to clarify time and space does exist at this level of understanding, and it does not exist at other dimensions, although every dimension is different one from the other because it's taking us to a different experience. For instance, time. Let's talk about time in this specific case. If I were to be entertained by and amused by an action or something that I see or something that I experience, time will fly. And I would not even notice how much time has gone by while I'm entertained by whatever it is. But to take it to the extreme, if I were to be tortured for 1 minute, 1 minute will feel like an eternity. And as you can see both extremes, you can understand that time does exist, but at a different level based on different dimensions. In this specific case here, in this so-called third dimension physical world, I can be entertained and time will fly and I would not even notice. However, if in this very realm I am being tortured or in extreme pain, it will feel like an eternity. So time does exist, not as we think it is as a linear fixed subject, but it does exist. And that is my message of today. Time and space, they do exist. And I wanted to clarify that over this very specific transcript. Keep tuned to this podcast and many others because I have more to say. This is Francisco Valentin. Until then.